It's been, it's been a couple of weeks with a lot of new faces, and I couldn't answer a lot of questions about what the starting lineup would be today because it's changed a great deal. And in coaching, that's not necessarily a good thing, but that is the thing. And I think that as the season progresses, we should be able to come up with a better awareness of which players make us the best at different positions. Come on in and sit down. So I would think that's probably my opening thoughts on where we are, but I'm sure they'll have a lot more information. Well, I didn't think it was reasonable last year, and we had 2 All-Americans returning. So I don't think that, I picked us 4th in the preseason poll, so obviously if I would have gotten around to voting for the AVCA poll, I wouldn't have picked us that high. I think there's a number of teams that have earned the privilege of climbing the polls to get themselves into that position, but I'm not going to worry much about it. When the poll came out, I said to the players, do you think you're the #1 team in the country? And none of them said yes. And I said, would you like to be the #1 team in the country? And a few of them said yes. And I said, well, then you have to get to work. And that was the extent of time that I spent on it, because it's, that's fine. We won the last 4 national championships. I'm aware of that. It's unbelievable. Nobody's ever done that before. Does that mean that this group is the #1 team in the country? It doesn't make sense to think that's how it works. But when people are just voting and they don't really know what's going on in everybody else's gym, I think it's fair that people do that. I don't lose sleep over it.
Can you elaborate on some of the strengths and weaknesses you saw during the preseason from the team?
Well, I think, we lost so much that we have a number of players in the gym who I think can contribute when they learn what it is we need them to do and what's expected at the collegiate level. Some of them are pretty young. We had 9 freshmen last year. We have 5 this year. 13 of the 17 players are freshman or sophomore eligibility. So even though some of them have national championship rings and played, they don't necessarily know. They know, what do they know now? They know that Ari and Blair and Alyssa and Kathy and Jess and Fatima were very special people that worked really hard and kept the level of the program a lot higher. So it's a process. We didn't just fall into winning the first national championship, and last year's national championship we may not have been the best team, but we were the best team at the end of the year, and we played well when we had to, and I think we'll work hard and we'll do the things we have to do to be competitive. I don't really know. I can't predict. I certainly don't know. But I know the lady to my right came back and is in great shape and worked hard and had a very good preseason. And, I'm happy for her that that's the case. And, a couple of the other kids, I think, probably could use another month or so of preseason like they do in football and baseball and things like that. They get them in there for 6 weeks. And, but in the pro sports, if it doesn't work out, you can clean out your locker by lunch. It's okay. So in college, a little bit different. If you got to wait for people to get themselves ready to go, but the schedule starts when the schedule starts. So it starts this weekend.
You've lost multiple All-Americans the last few years and still come back with a national championship. How have you been able to recover and bring it all together?
Well, it's like thinking there's a formula for that. That's just how it played itself out. I think it's more how do we look at the fact that one year when we had 6 All-Americans, all 8 of those players have signed professional contracts. The top, those 6, and the 2 primary subs, and Roberta and Alyssa DeRico. So that's the thing. How did you attract that many good players at the same time, and how did you get them to play well together? And it's, they made those decisions to do those things. I didn't think we were the #1 team in the country last year, but I thought we got better as the season progressed, and we had a game plan, and I rested some players in key matches because I thought it was more important to try and win the national championship than have a consecutive game winning streak. And I think in that case it worked out good for us. So this year is a little different. We have new people, and I'm not really sure. We may play more people than we played the last few years, but still, that's not necessarily a good thing. It's just that's what's happening in practice every day. Some people are playing good one day, and the next day they're stinking out the place.
Darcy, can you just talk a little bit about your health? Do you feel 100% right now?
I feel much better. It's been a long time since I've gotten to play, so I'm pretty hungry to get back on the court. But I'm surrounded by a lot of good players, and so I feel like I'm getting pushed a lot in practice. We're having to fight for every position, and so it's been a tough preseason. It's been a tough couple workouts, but I'm excited to put on that jersey again. So.
What do you think about the youth of this team?
What do I think about it?
You guys are a pretty young team.
I think it's good. I think everybody's really excited, really fresh. We did lose a lot of seniors, and so we do have a lot of openings in our lineup, and the young people, they bring good energy. Katie brings great energy. Our freshmen they bring in great energy, and so it's good. It's good for practice because you don't have those times when you're down and things get difficult because you're tired or you don't have energy. We always have energy. We're always excited, and so that's the big positive with being young. A little inexperienced, but I think the energy will help make up for it.
Darcy, do you feel like there's a lot more on your shoulders this year, being one of the more advanced members of the team?
Yeah, I think there is more responsibility because I've been able to play my freshman year, and then I also got to watch a lot last year, and so I got to learn the game from different perspectives, and so hopefully that'll bring something that I'll be able to bring something that maybe other people haven't experienced, and a different side of leadership, and so I think it could be helpful, yes.
You guys have USC this weekend, and then in a couple weeks you have Stanford and Florida and Texas. How much do you think having these tough matches in the beginning of the season will help you later on?
I think it'll be good, a good gauge of getting us, like you said, we're young, and so it'll be good to expose the young people to that high level of play early. And with the addition of Nebraska to the Big Ten's getting stronger. Illinois is going to be really good. Michigan will be good. Minnesota's going to be really good. And so playing good teams early on will kind of prepare us for the long schedule that we have this year.
And Katie, last year you guys had 3 really good middle hitters, and this year you're probably going to play a lot more. How do they help season you for this year?
Like you guys said, we're a young team, but we've had the benefit of learning from a lot of great seniors last year. I know I was always watching Ariel Wilson and Fatima Balza and seeing what they were doing because they both brought different qualities to the table that were really good, and I was able to learn a lot from them. So I think that this year I can take what I learned and apply it and also help the freshmen with what I've learned.
Maybe this is your second year, and obviously first year is kind of a learning experience. This year when you're coming in again, preseason #1, do you realize now that doesn't mean as much as the process begins and learning along the way?
Yeah, I really understand the process this year. So last year we were ranked preseason #1, and I was kind of like, oh my gosh, what does this mean? Because I had never played a college match. I didn't know based on practice how it would stack up in a match, but now I understand, and I understand that it's better to be the best team at the end of the year than at the beginning. And playing a tough schedule like we are, I think it's really going to help us come December. We'll really be ready. I thought it helped us last year. The Big Ten season really helped us coming into NCAA tournament, so I hope that it does the same this year.
With the loss of a few familiar faces like Blair and how do you guys maintain your team chemistry when you guys are fighting for positions and stuff like that starting to
Do you want me to take this?
Go ahead.
When I was coming in as a freshman, I was really close with Katie Cabas because we had been friends since we were in high school, played on the same team, and I was like, is it weird that you're competing with the girls on your team, but then you're really great friends off the court? I thought it was going to be a weird dynamic, but it really isn't. And when you're in the gym, it's business. You leave your school at the door, you leave your personal life at the door. When you get in the gym, you have to work hard, and it is a competition, and if it's not, then we're not going to be getting better. So it's important that we have the competition in the gym, and then when we're outside the gym, we really are, like, these are all my core group of friends right here on the team, so it's nice.
Darcy, you've seen two great senior classes graduate. What have they passed down to you and Kristen and Katie Cavis and Megan Shipwood?
The two classes that I've seen pass have been, great volleyball players, but they've also been great leaders, and they were very good in communicating to us remaining players, like, what this program means and what Penn State volleyball is all about. And Nami preached to us a lot during her last year about, like, this is what you guys need to do. This is how you should run things. And so I feel that those of us remaining are prepared, and we know what Penn State volleyball is about, and we're looking forward to the challenges that are ahead of us. And we're focused and ready to compete.
Coach, the Big Ten Conference has a 12 team this year. I know you picked Nebraska to win the season. What are your thoughts on them joining the conference?
Well, I think, I'm sure my thoughts are the same as when Penn State joined the Big Ten 20 years ago. Coaches didn't really have a thought on the process till afterthought. So, I think Nebraska is going to bring, at least to the table in women's volleyball, they're going to bring a great tradition. Their venue is always sold out, so you're always going to be playing matches when you go to Nebraska against an informed crowd. And I just based my rankings on the fact that they had 3 returning All-Americans, and I thought 3 All-Americans is quite a bit. And I could be wrong. As I said to the Nebraska papers, just because I picked them number 1 doesn't mean we're not going to try. We're going to try as hard as we possibly can. The fact that I thought there were 2 or 3 other teams that are also very good in the conference. I think Illinois is going to be very good. I think Purdue should have a very strong team, and I think Michigan State's a team that people might not be talking about, but I think they've got great talent and a lot of returning players, and I think Wisconsin's also poised to make a return to the top. So it's going to be a very competitive conference, not just for us. It's going to be competitive for everybody. So I think that's the that's the nature of these mega conferences as they go. That every trip is a tough trip. It's not just one trip, and if you're not ready to play at home, you're going to lose at home as well. So, we open this weekend with Oregon, who's a very strong team from the Pac-10, and then play USC, who probably could have made a great argument for being the number 1 team in the country, either them or Cal. So, it's going to be a great test for us to see where we are, and I think that I'll know more about this group in a week than I do today.
How long do you anticipate that you'll be toying with the lineup?
Well, I thought I was toying with it until the last week of the Big Ten season last year, but I would think this group probably is going to be, it could be a month of, we've had, last year Kristen Carpenter was the setter, and yesterday or 2 days ago she was the libero. So I think that kind of sums it up. The only person for sure from the first meeting I had with the team, I thought the only one that had really solidified a specific spot on the team was Katie Slay. That, we don't have, she's a great blocker, and she's improved her offense, and, she had a great preseason and worked hard, and, from my standpoint, that's we start with her and we build around her a little bit, and we'll go from there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we play 13, 14 kids this weekend.
We'll be starting a setter Friday night.
That's a great question. Yesterday was Carpenter, but we haven't practiced yet today, and we have 3 other practices before we get there.
What have you seen out of your freshmen this year?
I think the freshmen have been, up and down. Their low side has been pretty bad, but I think their upside has been really positive. I think Dom has really played very well in the preseason and is making a strong push to be, considered for the libero spot. And I think Lacey plays as hard as any kid we've had for a long time in the back row. Micah is going to be a very good college volleyball player, and Ayana and Nia are both kids that I would expect at times to play this year, depending on how they continue to progress. I kind of hand them off to Dennis, and he's been working well with them, and he's doing a great job with them. And Kalina's working with the back row kids, so I trust that the staff is trying to get the kids better, and we'll see. But I think all 5 of them are good players, and I can see them having bright futures at Penn State volleyball.
Seems like you haven't considered redshirting any of them.
I haven't really considered redshirting any of them right now. No, but we haven't played, so I don't know. It's some people maybe play better than they practice. So that's the beauty of it. Today we'll go in the main gym, so we'll see how people practice in the main gym instead of practicing in the south gym. So there's a lot of factors that I think really go into who's going to play and who's not going to play. And so redshirts, you might redshirt kids because they have the potential to be really good, or you redshirt somebody because they're they have an injury and you want to save them. But redshirting people doesn't mean they're going to play for 5 years. It's you just try and make some decisions.
This season, do you expect any of the freshmen to play big roles like Katie and Deja did last year?
Yeah, I would think for sure in the back row. I think Dom right now is probably in the best position to do that. When Karp was the libero, both Micah and Marika were doing a little setting. So, I think that. Yeah, you don't know, you don't predict. At the beginning, last year, before we started the preseason, I had 2 other people in the starting lineup than were in the lineup when we were lining it up for the national championship. So even though you recruit the players, you don't know for sure if they're really going to develop. You don't know how people are going to transition to college, the speed of the game, the demands of being a college athlete, the demands of expectations. There's a lot of expectations on these young people, and some of them handle it really well, and some of them I think they cave under the pressure. It's tough for some young people. You got to have pretty broad shoulders and have a strong back and a strong disposition to go out there and try to be the #1 team in the country, especially if you're not. If you are the #1 team in the country, whole different sense of bravado about it. But it's more important to earn it than have somebody give it to you.
Deja was most outstanding player in the Final Four. What has she been doing to elevate her game even further?
Well, I think again, Deja's it's a learning curve for Deja. I think she wasn't a back row player before last year, so we were fortunate to be able to kind of pencil her in. But what made it easy is she was next to Alyssa and Kathy, and those people made her transition a lot easier. It's a lot harder now when she's supposed to try and do it by herself, and she's looking around, and she has new people, and the new people aren't as confident, and they're just not as skilled. So I think she's one of the people that the expectations are probably unfair for her at this point in time. But she's an athletic kid, and I think she wants to be good. I think as Katie and Darcy said, I think the girls really like each other. I think they're a group that get along real well, and that's positive. But it's easy to get along until somebody's kicking your butt, and then we'll see how you get along.
Girls, you guys start at home this weekend. How nice is it to get the first 2 games under your belt before you have to travel?
Playing in Rec Hall is a great experience. The fans are so educated; they know volleyball very well, and so it's a great environment to play in. I think it'll be great for our younger players to get that experience right away, playing with a friendly crowd and people that are rooting for them. Your first college match can be pretty intimidating, and so playing at home is going to be nice because it's at least a comfortable atmosphere, and it also it puts us all in a good mind frame to start off. We're excited to play in Rec Hall. We always get excited to play in Rec Hall, so it'll be good.
It'll be interesting to see how they handle the difference between their first match at Rec Hall and then their first match at Stanford or their first match at Nebraska. It could be a culture shock for some of them.
Darcy, how good is it going to feel for you to walk back on that court Friday night?
Really good. Rec Hall is one of my favorite places on campus. It's a magical gym, and yeah, it's gonna feel really good to go back out there in front of a lot of people. Our booster crowd has been super supportive of me and our team and everything. So it'll be exciting to go back.
And Darcy, what was it like sitting on the bench last year and having to watch, especially after you're having such a good freshman season?
It's difficult. Anytime you have to go from a starting role to being on the sidelines is difficult. But I looked at it as a new opportunity, as a chance to grow as a student of the game instead of as a player of the game. And so I got to look at it from almost a coaching standpoint. I was in the position my freshman year of, going out on the court and being kind of unsure about things. And so my goal last year was to go out and help the new people, help Deja, help Ariel Scott, and kind of give them some of the stuff that I learned my freshman year. And now this year, well, hopefully I'll be able to go out and do it from a player standpoint.
Sounds like she didn't like coaching, is what I'm hearing. Well, that wasn't as much fun for Darcy. She was helpful, though. Don't kid yourself. I mean, Darcy's certainly one of our most passionate competitors. There's no question about that. So.
Coach, what are your thoughts on Alyssa signing a contract with the team?
Well, I mean, I think it's great that all of the players have opportunities to continue playing when they're done with their college eligibility, and hers is kind of a unique thing. She's going as more of a passer hitter than as a libero. So she was a great player coming out of high school, and she was similar to Roberta Holhouse, who did the same thing when she left. And if Kalina would have done that as our first libero, she could have done the same thing. There's a lot of really small, great, complete players that when they go to college volleyball, because of the nuances of the game, now they're in the libero role, and in at least colleges they're allowed to serve. That's the only place where they're allowed to actually serve. So I think those are some of the things that change the game. But she's a great player. She's a great leader, and I mean, she at one point was going to be doing something in France, and it fell through. And then she had something from Spain, and I wrote a letter to the owner of the team, and after he read my letter, he offered her a contract. So, I mean, I said what it is. She did really well. I think she's a great teammate. I think she plays the game hard. I think she's low maintenance, and most important in sports is the ability to make other people better. And I think that's one of the things that Nummy's really very attuned to.
Who do you anticipate Friday night as the other starting middle and your left side?
Gordon, you think you need to know the lineup here? You think you need to know that? I know, you're asking. I know. And between there and here, did I have the lineup for you last year? I don't think so. Yeah. Okay, well, I think I gave you some of it, and there it is over there. Right, a big, tall, red-headed girl. That's it. We're going to be starting, well, I mean, it's really hard for me to say. I mean, I could give you 8 names, and I think we'll probably start 5 or 6 players, but I don't want to say who's going to start, and then they find themselves shagging balls later today, which has happened before. So.